Hello everyone, I'm Grim, a freelance artist, and this week I'm updating some of my commission pricing. This is part vlog and also part why you shouldn't be afraid to update your commission pricing if needed. I'm also going to walk through my decision-making process for how I'm getting to the prices that I'll end up settling on, and walk you through setting that up on VGen. Then, I'm going to reflect a little on the process, and, of course, as a general heads up, I'm only updating my pricing for one of my types of commissions right now, because I don't need to change everything all at once at the moment. Let's hop into things. I am updating my pricing because I noticed that I've been spending a lot more time on my Surprise Me commissions than I was charging for. Which means, as a freelance artist, I was underpaying myself. And of course, that is unsustainable because it means the time that I spend working can't pay for my living expenses. If you notice that happening with your own work, you should definitely update your commission prices. As I have said in other videos, we have unfortunately not defeated capitalism, unless you are brave enough to live off the grid. There are also several other reasons you might update your commission prices, whether that's raising or lowering them too. One of those reasons you might consider is how much do you want to do the work that is being asked of you by the client. If something is hard for you or not fun, charge more. The simple fact is that the work you don't like will take you more effort, so you should be paid for the extra effort. We are human beings who are all supposed to live and be happy, and suffering does not have to be a part of your work. And, well, if you are going to choose to suffer, you might as well get paid good for it. Of course, the inverse is also true. I sometimes see people offer discounts for certain types of characters because they want to draw them. Another reason you might adjust your commission prices is how the demand for your work is in relation to your workload. If you have more than you can manage on your plate, charge more. It means you'll be paid better for the extra stress, and charging more necessarily limits the number of clients that can afford your work. However, if you're not making enough to exist off of, it might be worth considering lowering your prices for a bit just to get work in the door while you build up momentum and a regular client base. Just don't stick with the lower than you need prices for too long. Now, jumping into my current plan to update my pricing. I'm going to note down my current hourly rate, which is $26.25 if anyone is wondering. The next step is I'm going to go onto the Bureau of Labor Statistics website and research the hourly wage of an independent artist to see if it's changed since the last time I looked. If I need to update my hourly rate, I will note that down. And from there, I'm going to gather information on how long it took me to do various commissions of the type that I'm updating, and then compare it to come up with the new prices. From there, I'll hop onto VGen to update the service with my adjusted pricing. So now we're here where I'm keeping all of my research. I've built a pretty Notion page because I can't be stopped. First stop is we are going to head to the Bureau of Labor Statistics website. I actually did a little bit of digging around because their website is very confusing to navigate. I don't know if other countries have this, but the Bureau of Labor Statistics is a really useful website. If you live in the United States, you can compare the average pay and such for different industries, which can be really useful to know whether or not you're being underpaid or anything else going on. I have found the page that contains the national wage data by area and occupation. So I'm gonna head here for the different industries, and these are all of the different sectors. I am arts, entertainment, and recreation. So now I get to go through this beautiful list. Thankfully, it's just this section 71 right here that I need to go through and take a look at. I am an independent artist. There is nothing else that fits that closely. So let's do independent artist. This is a big, scary spreadsheet, but this is why you learn how to read tables and such. This period is May 2024, so this is pretty up-to-date information. It's just from last year, which is pretty nice. So employment is how many people are employed in there. That's their percent error, which is just how accurate they think it is. I think. I'm not a scientist. I'm just trying to read the chart and also explain the chart. Hourly mean wage. Mean is just another word for average, which we're going to want to look at the hourly mean wage because that is how I'm going to base my pricing off of. We only need the hourly mean wage section of this chart, okay? So then we just look through the occupation part of this table and we just try to find the one that's the closest in arts. So let's see. Not management, not executive, advertising, administrative, managers, HR, project management. Oh, that's really nice. Project management is paid really well. Really good. I don't think good project management. Business operations, security support specialists, web developers, artists, museum techs, media stuff. Yeah, arts and management works in media occupations. That's kind of interesting because I think that would be how it was. Come on, look at that. Artists and related workers, all modern. We're gonna keep that one in mind to come back to because it's pretty close. It's pretty close to what we want. Yeah, $21.99. Y'all's rate go down. I hope that's not the case. I can't live on that. Most people can't. Oh, this doesn't look like it's necessarily hard. I don't know. Fingers and finger hairs. There's a wild house in here. Alright. I'm just gonna Ctrl+F for artist. Artists and related workers. $29.87. Okay. So that means I have my rate and, well, so my current hourly rate is, it's almost like $4, $4 or $5 behind the times, which is not great. That's not good. So I definitely need to up it. I'm thinking instead of calling it $29.87, I'm just gonna round it to an even $30. That's just easier to do math with. And then I also need to account for platform fees. I know VGen takes 5%. So really quick, 5% of 30 is 1.5. So they take $1.50 of every hour of my work, which again, that's not bad at all. I want to try to keep my math nice and even still because people just like round numbers better. So I should tack $1.50 on, we'll just tack on $2, which would make my new hourly would be 32. There's that. This is something I'm just going to do to compare and get an idea of what I should be charging for things. The way I have set up this table is I'll input the type of commission it was for the specific type that I am updating the prices of, which is my Surprise Me sketches. I'll note if there's any extra fees that would have affected the price. I'm going to put in what I did charge for it, how long it took, which I'll have easy access to by checking the work timer in Clip Studio Paint. Then I have the actual hourly pay column, which basically what it does is I put in how much I charge for this piece. Let's say it's $26.25. And what it does is it will first divide the minutes that I put in on it by 60 to convert it to hours. And then it multiplies the hours I took by how much I charged. and that'll spit out how much I actually made for it. Ideally, for my older pricing, I should have been as close as possible to $26.25 because that was my hourly rate. And now I have this property that it basically subtracts my actual hourly pay from $26.25, and it'll tell me what the difference is from the goal. So if it's negative, that's also bad. If it's positive, then that's good. It means I worked fast and I was making more money. And then the suggested new price column is actually going to be, I set this up before I had my new hourly. This is going to be how much I would charge for it with my current pricing. So I'm going to update that to 32. So as you can see, if I spent an hour on a piece, my actual hourly pay is $26.25. There's no difference from my goal. And I should charge $32 for it from now on, going forward. So now I'm going to pause recording while I go and gather how much I charged for various commissions. And I'm going to punch that data in really quick. Alrighty then, so I have now gone and gathered my commission prices from basically the last 2 months. The only real difference to the table is I updated the table to use US dollars format instead of just normal numbers. So, of the Surprise Me sketch commissions, this is not accounting for VGen fees for the 5% that they took. So on this first commission, I took 50 minutes. The second one, I took 44. And the third one, I took 39. Which the third one, it's understandable that it took a little bit less time because it was a bust drawing. However, that means I was spending double the amount of time I should be on these, which is not good. I, on average was only making $10 an hour, which, shame on me, is about $2 more than the art job I had in high school. I have a college degree. I should be charging more than that. I also, woof, the difference, not good. Woof, how much I should be charging. Way more than what I did. Quite a bit. So, we'll say it took me 45 minutes to do a bust. This is going to be the new hypothetical. So, we'll call it hypothetical bust. We'll call it a bust. And we'll say it took me 45 minutes to do. Because that's a nice, easy number to work with. And the new suggested price is $24. So that is going to be the starting rate for what I'm going to offer for my Surprise Me sketch commissions. Our hypothetical half body is going to be half body. Most of those took me, the least amount of time it took me was almost 45 minutes, but usually they take me closer to an hour. So we'll say it's an hour. Those will be 32 flat. And we'll say a hypothetical full body. I don't actually get commissioned to do full bodies for the style very often. So actually, I'm going to hop back into VGen because I know I have at least one that I can grab. All right, I've now grabbed this. I've now grabbed this last piece of commission information. I'm going to move this up here so it's a little easier. As a note, this one was for commercial use, which adds 100% to the base price. So my hourly rate could actually be doubled for that, which means 25 times 2 should be 52. So the 56 here is actually one of the few ones here where I did a little bit more than break even, which is good. I'm proud of me. Anyway, the important part is that this full body took me a little over an hour and a half to do, so we'll call it 100 minutes for the hypothetical, which means I should be charging about $53 for the hypothetical one. All that said, that means we're going to hop into VGen to start adjusting my service and see how that goes. So we're now here in my Surprise Me sketch, and we're going to go through and start working on the base price for things. Notably, I'm going to be changing these to an hourly pay what you want. And my base rate, I think I need to play with the request form to figure out what I can set my base price as. But first, let's go through this. I don't need to adjust any of that licensing stuff because that is all the same. I need to adjust the size for it. So I'm going to delete that. Let's add a question. And this is going to be a quantity, and it is going to be required. How many hours would you like me to spend on this piece?
Oh, okay. So base price is the 45 minutes. So that would be 24. So the difference between the 24 and the 32 is 8. Minimum is 1, so we'll make that 8. Okay. Oh, okay. Base price is 24. So it should be...
Okay, I'm just going to set the 0 to equal to 45 minutes or less. I'm just going to set it to that and call it that.
So 1 hour is going to be 32. 2 hours, let me do math really quick. 2 times 2 is 64.
Wait. This has to add on top. So, okay. I know what I need to do.
So base price is 24 plus an hour, so this will add 8. Bring up to an hour. 24 plus 32. 2 hours should be 64. So 64 minus 24 should add 40. Good. Good. And then 3 hours should be 32 times 3 is 96. So 96 minus 24 is 72. And then I think 4 hours will probably be the max of the comfortable offering. So 32 times 4 is 128 times 4 is going to be 104. Okay. So now I'm going to put the point reference. Okay, the full body we don't have. Partial 97 is closer to 120, so.
Okay. I am just going to go with a bust drawing. Comfortably takes 45 minutes to an hour. Half body drawings typically take an hour. Full bodies take 1 to 2. And the more time you pay for, more polished or detailed your sketch will be. And to that end, I'm removing the finish type because if someone wants to only purchase an hour of time for multiple full bodies, they're not getting color. Then in the details, I'm going to update this. I'm going to note, I choose whether the sketch is colored based on the amount of time paid for and the complexity of the request. There we go. That seems fair. I like that. I like that a bunch. So I'm going to publish those changes, and there's that. So after doing some research, I found out I was undercharging myself about 50% of what I should be charging, give or take, which is, not great for commissions. Hopefully the adjusted prices mean I can afford to support myself better for sure. And I know I cut it out of the video, but I also had quite the time double checking my math, which honestly, I think having to record a video for this definitely helped me make sure I did my math right. And of course, I also had to think through exactly how to build the pay what you want commissions in VGen, which was an interesting puzzle. I hope you enjoyed watching me figure that out, but I think I managed to get it in the end. And while I'm not accepting any new work in May, if you are interested in commissioning me or getting a commission when they open back up, the plan is in June. There will be a link in the description to my VGen, and you can also hit a little button on VGen to get notified when what you want opens up. All of that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a bit about your own commission pricing and deciding how to price your commissions by seeing me go about it. I know I learn a lot better when I just see people do something. So, if you have any questions or comments about pricing commissions, absolutely feel free to ask in the comments below. I will note I am not going to tell people what they specifically should charge exactly. I'm happy to give general advice and things to consider. Anyway, this is the part of the video where I ask you to like and subscribe because that is the language the YouTube algorithm speaks. And, of course, subscribing means you'll get to see my videos more often, hopefully. With that, I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!